Hit it.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. Hot, hot! This is State of My Sports.
Hoofta! Here we go. We're finally talking Tigers couple weeks late.
Can I just say, like, after all that, I didn't even look at my notes during any of that. I could have just read it and probably would have been way quicker. So, apologize to everybody. I'm about to lose my voice. I'm done.
All good, man.
Oh, wait, we're talking Tigers?
Tigers,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah,
his mic's back on, too.
John was all pumped to cut him off. All right, anyway, Tiger spring training, Correa's contract, and just questioning some of the Tigers' moves. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, I kind of went on my rant of spending money, add to this team. You know, too many holes. We needed a fifth starter. I didn't like the Tyler Alexander in that fifth starter mode. Bullpen help would be good. Well, I think we just got to start with the good, and this was a couple weeks ago now, but the Tigers addressed a piece of the bullpen by agreeing to a 2-year, $13 million contract with Andrew Chafin, who's a 31-year-old and had a 1.83 ERA and 5 saves in 71 games for the Cubs and the A's last year. It doesn't. So I think this is a very interesting signing because it doesn't sound like he's coming in to be the 8th inning guy or the 9th inning guy. Like Soto's still that. They're going to be the closer, if you will. One thing that I think we've learned watching AJ Hinch with this less than talented team, I think you could say, he's going to mix and match. And it's not necessarily about a closer being a closer. You're only a closer, and you're only my closer. And nobody else is my closer. You know what I mean? He kind of went away from that a little bit last year by kind of mixing and matching, getting the key outs in the key moments. Chafin kind of comes in. Is that Chafin or Chaffin? I guess it doesn't matter. We'll learn it here in a couple weeks. But he fits that mold because he can come in. He has the attitude, the swag of a closer, but he doesn't need the spotlight of the "you are my closer." You know what I mean? My only closer.
What do they call him? What's his nickname? The General or something like that?
It's something funny like that. Yeah, I don't think I have that on here.
I'm game. He's a character.
Yeah, he's a character, and he fits in really well with what we got because we got the late inning guys. You know, you can throw in Michael Fulmer, part of that group of the 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys, and you just put in another piece that can come in and get key outs in key moments. What did you think about this signing?
I think it's great. I think one of the strengths of the team is the bullpen last year.
Yeah.
I think it's only going to be more of a strength this year.
It makes your starting rotation better, too.
It takes the pressure off.
Yeah. Look at the way the Royals did it a few years back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. They shortened the game by having an elite bullpen, and that's what they seem to be building.
Well, and when we looked at if you look at the Astros back when they won the World Series and when they were going through their big run, AJ Hinch was, led that whole effort. Mm-hmm. He was one of the forerunner. I don't know what you say. Like he was at the forefront of like
front runner.
I don't know. Whatever. He was leading the charge for not having those established roles like what you're saying. So if you need him, there's a term for it that they use in baseball. I'm blanking on that.
They call it like
It's like when you need it the most. It's situational.
The key outs or the.
Yeah. So it's the role that Andrew Miller got famous for, with the Indians. They would bring him in the 6th inning sometimes because in that moment, bases loaded, 1 out, they needed strikeouts. They brought in their best pitcher to get the outs, the most critical outs at the time. Yeah. And so that's where I think, I'm not saying this is him, but it allows the flexibility for AJ Hinch to use the hot hand whenever it is, or play the lefty-lefty matchup.
Right matchup.
Or whatever, it just adds depth,
and it's really important because if you remember a couple years ago, they brought in the 3-out minimum type thing. So it's not necessarily lefty righty matchup anymore. It's about a guy that can go out and get outs, and that's really important. Like you can have him start an inning and plan on getting those 3 outs, or you can bring him in to get a key out too. Like he's very. You got to get more flexible bullpen guys than what you have needed in the past. You can't just have that key lefty that has that swipe, like that, what do they call it, the swipe slider that just gets every other wipeout slider, and have that one guy that can do that one pitch against that one hitter. It doesn't do that anymore. You got to have guys that can pitch, not just throw guys off, if you will. Then they went out and signed Michael Pineda to a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. He is 62-54 with a 3.98 ERA in 8 seasons with the Mariners, Yankees, and Twins. He was an American League All-Star in 2011 with Seattle. Known for his good control, Pineda threw 69% of his pitches for strikes last year, the 4th best rate in the majors among those with at least 100 innings. He was 9-8 with 3.62 ERA for the Minnesota Twins.
Bad Twins team.
The 33-year-old righty went 5-0 with a 1.85 ERA in his final 5 games, leading the majors in wins in September. I look at this signing. It's not change, like, it doesn't change a whole lot, because I don't want to say he's like he's not going to jump in and become the number 2 starter or anything. You're not doing anything crazy, but he's a professional pitcher that's been around the league, knows what he's doing, and can come in and kind of be that, fire putter outer when things are going bad for these starters. And he'll eat innings if he needs to. He'll go out and just put up a good effort, but he could have those dog efforts too. He just seems to be a much better option than Tyler Alexander for that 5th starting role. And I'm going to say 5th starting role. He's not going to be a 5th starter. Matt Manning's going to be the 5th starter, no question in my mind. But how you mix it and match it, it doesn't matter. He's that 5th guy that you're bringing in and relieving that stress from a Tyler Alexander.
Maybe a 6th or 7th guy. And in this day and age, somebody's going to be hurt throughout the year, right?
Yep.
We need to be more than 5 strong. And so that's what this is, a complete depth pick or pickup. I don't think it's one of these like one and done or like a trade potential candidate midway through the season. If he rediscovers something like he ended last year, then he could absolutely be a trade candidate. But I don't think he's somebody that teams are going to covet come the postseason.
Okay.
So it's more for just providing that overall depth within the
and veteran
rotation.
leadership, I think, too.
Absolutely. And throwing strikes, like that's the kind of stuff that young pitchers need to learn, is why it's important to throw strikes. Getting ahead early in the count and having another guy like this just helps.
For sure.
It helps.
Yeah. Going off to I think that's kind of all of the positive that we've seen. I don't want to bore people with a lot of spring training talk. I don't think people really care. What I wanted to really end the Tigers talk on, unless you want to bring up, do you want to bring up anything?
I just think there's some rumors out there that Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson are going to make the squad, right, for opening day. So that is big news. I don't want to shortchange that. That's like our future of the franchise here.
I agree that's what the rumors are. Until it happens, I'm not gonna believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just there. I don't think they could go out and have an unbelievable spring training and they would play them, because like I feel like their mind was made up. They're like, these guys are gonna play or they're not gonna play before spring training. Whether it was a really good spring training or really bad spring training, they're like, these guys are ready or they're not. That's where I feel like this organization's made up their mind. So I don't want to dive too much into like the spring training side. They're both been okay. Nothing great. They're not killing the ball. They're not doing anything spectacular.
Pitchers
but nobody really does.
okay.
Nobody really does in spring training. Anyways,
Yeah, pitchers
right?
are looking pretty good. I like the stuff that I'm seeing. I think Riley Green has 2 home runs.
Hit a second today.
Both of them were like, he may have gotten 80%.
Yeah, and it
like,
still got out.
That's encouraging to me because that's a strong dude.
Balls also fly out of that park a little bit easier.
Yeah, 100%. But he's also a young guy that is built differently, and I think there's just a lot of upside in those.
Yeah.
When you miss a ball and you get 65% of it to the opposite field and it somehow goes over the fence, you're like, okay, there must have been 40-mile-an-hour winds, or the dude is actually pretty strong.
Yeah, pretty gifted. Until it happens, until it's announced, I'm reserved on it, to say the least. But another thing that happened that we were going to talk about last week, real quick, that I want to talk about this week, Correa signed with the Twins, a 3-year deal, $105.3 million, $35 per year, with a player opt-out after every single year. So it's basically 3 one-year deals for $105.3 million. And you guys know my opinion on what the Tigers need to do, and they need to spend money. And I look at this contract, and I'm like, why weren't the Tigers making this deal? Why weren't the Tigers spending this money? Why Why wasn't there more on the table? And I know we signed Baez, and I like the Baez signing. I do. But you can do both. And that's where I feel like this Tigers organization is at, is they had an opportunity to be like, all right, everybody hates us right now. Chris Illitch came out with the voted against something that people were pissed about. I think it was wrongfully mad about it personally, but they were. And this was the chance for the organization to be like, hey, we're not crippling our future with a crazy contract. Let's just get him here.
For 3 years.
Let's get this guy here and make this. People would have bought season tickets like that. Like, it would have gone so quick. They would have been filling the stands so stinking fast. And I get, he might not be worth, what is that, $35 million a year. A lot of people say that. I'm like, who gives a crap?
For 3 years, maybe.
For 3 years.
Like, what else are you doing? I agree with you.
That's a very short-term deal, and he could opt out. Okay, if he opts out, then you're handcuffed even less.
He declined a 10-year offer from the Tigers, right?
Yeah, and it was like 30, or it was
like
28.
29. Yeah, but you go to the 33 or something over a 3-year period. Like, come on. That's something that's not going to handcuff your future, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Your franchise. I don't know. I'm not sure what the long-term reason, or maybe they didn't even think that offer would have done anything, talking to his agent. Like, I'm not sure what the disconnect was, or if he had said, I don't want to play with Baez. That's not where I belong.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be his own thing and not like share a spotlight or something. I don't know, but he's going to have it all to himself with the Twins.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just find it very interesting because you look at what the Tigers offered, and I'm like, okay, that means A.J. Hinch wanted him. And now you miss out on him by not signing this deal when you have plenty of cap space. You have what did we say, $105 million below the luxury tax. You wouldn't even come close to that. And so what does this do? Like, what does A.J. Hinch think about this? Like, I know he knows the ins and outs of everything, but, like, if he wanted him that badly, and let's just say Chris Illitch said, no, we can't spend him. We already got you Baez. We're not going to spend any more. That's where I'm going to really lose my mind. And it's another opportunity to just wonder what Illich's end goal is with this organization as the owner. Is he willing to spend money? Is Avila willing to spend money to get aggressive and go all in? Because this was an opportunity I just feel like it was missed out. I really do. And it's disappointing.
They might have thought it was a little too early, but yeah, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
We'll see with the long-term money that they actually spend.